Hello, hello. Welcome to Actors Anonymous. I am your host, Sam Quiche, and today we have with us a very special guest. You might know him from Sleepy Hollow and Friday the 13th, Derek Mears. Thanks for coming on.
Hi, thank you for having me. Super excited to be here, and my cold is as well.
That's tough. Cold, sniffly. For actors, it's the worst because we talk. We have to be very engaged and stuff, and so.
Also, first impressions. People listen to you for the first time, like, "Oh, that guy's not enunciating. That guy can't read." Listen to him. Whatever.
You know what? We're casual here.
I like that. I like that a lot.
So it'll be fine. It's not an audition, that's for sure.
How am I doing so far? No, okay.
That's what I say at auditions. How am I doing so far? I haven't booked in a while for some reason. No.
I like to say pause in the middle of the audition and walk around. I get kind of eccentric. I'm like, pause. Okay, let's get back to this. What?
Okay, very basic. Where are you from, man?
Originally from Bakersfield, California.
Okay.
Or I should say Bakersfield, California.
Bakersfield, okay.
Yeah, man, it was, we're known for country music, agriculture, the worst air quality in the U.S., and the rock band Corn. Mm-hmm.
Worse than L.A.?
Yeah, oh, for sure. We get the smog from L.A. and the little valley gets stuck there, and also all the chemicals in the agricultural community getting kicked up from the farmlands, and also all the neighboring, like Fresno and whatnot, all the crap just stays there. So,
right.
Unfortunately, every time I go back, I don't stay very long because my face explodes with allergies and I can't breathe, and I'm a fan of breathing.
Did you go to school for acting?
I did. I got college and whatnot. I grew up in high school. I was like the different kid. I have a disorder called alopecia, which means my hair or my body sees that the hair is like a foreign obstacle and rejects it. So at the time, like my hair fall out like little pieces and patches.
Yeah.
And either people are like, "Oh, you have cancer," or "You're a skinhead." And I'm like, I swear, I'm not a skinhead. Even though I'm tall, white, and bald, and I am not a skinhead.
I get that a lot, skinhead.
Really?
Yeah. No, I'm kidding.
I can see it a little bit. A little bit. We cut in for the camera and zoom in. It'd be great. No, sorry.
What college did you go to?
I went to Bakersfield Community College.
Okay.
Then I went to, started taking my academics a little bit more serious, and went to Cal State Bakersfield. Okay. Then moved to LA to do acting and comedy, and finish up my major in theater. And I was going to actually LACC. But then I got offered a job. My first audition actually was to do the live Wild West stunt show at Universal Studios. And I'm like, wait a second, like what? Let me get this straight. You're going to pay me to do comedy and also do physical stuff? Like what? That sounds amazing. So I actually dropped out of school to continue to follow my love of acting.
That's amazing. Well, let's go back a little bit then. So physical stuff, you mean martial arts? You've done that.
Yeah. But at the time, it was more like because what got me started in everything and acting in general. Back in high school, I loved playing Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm a giant nerd. I get like comic books, sci-fi, like horror, whatever it was.
That's awesome.
It's so. How do I do this the rest of my life professionally? Like I want to be the ogre. No, anyways. So at 17, I went to our theater company, or a high school theater troupe, went to a show called Comedy Sports, which is an improv comedy show for the first time. And I was such a young punk kid, like, what? There's no script. This is stupid. I don't want whatever. Fell in love with it. It was amazing. And so I took a class there at the time. They just taught a class just so people could learn the games. And after taking the class, the owners approached me and went, hey, do you want to be a part of the full-time company? And I'm like, but I'm only 17. Like, everybody else is an adult. Like, we know. And it just kind of took off from there. So I moved to L.A., and I had a minor background in martial arts, like family, Goju Karate, and Taekwondo.
Great.
And so it's funny because a lot of people like how I look now. People are like, oh, so you're like the star of the football team and like played, all sports. Oh, no. I could barely do a pull-up at all, and I had like boobs or whatever. It was it was crazy. So when I moved to LA, I went, wait a second. If I worked out, and I took a class with Sam Christensen's studios, and I went, wait a second. If I worked out, I could be like the modern, like a big bad guy in TV and film.
Yeah.
So I started training like crazy and took every martial arts style that I could, learned to eat right, and started to be able to do more and more pull-ups. So it's been great.
There's definitely I have a lot of martial arts experience as well and background, and I think there's definitely a correlation, especially with the discipline for me, that transcends over to the acting.
Oh, completely. They parallel for sure.
I absolutely absolutely am so thankful that I was into martial arts, because that discipline I learned from there, like the work ethic and the structure from Taekwondo. I did like a lot of old school Taekwondo. Helped me with simple things like memorizing your lines.
Completely.
Your blocking in theater. These are like super basic things that people don't realize. Like, you need to be good at those things before you can be doing those films or TV shows or even theater shows where, you know, you're working with, you know, the top actors, the top directors, you know, and these great plays and great stories. You've got to know how to move like, to your mark first. Master that first. So it's like all about mastering those, you know, just the simple punch or the simple block before you're able to do the jumping roundhouse kick, you know?
Yeah, no, you're so right. I tell a lot of people a lot of times, I used to do stunts for a long time also, and I would bounce between acting and stunts, and now it's all been acting. I haven't done stunts, though I still have the skill set for like 8 or 9 years or so. But like when you do like a choreographed fight routine, it was wild because like left brain, right brain, or white collar, blue collar, as an actor and a stunt person, it's two different mechanics, because like some of the stunt guys would be like, oh, that actor, he was so like, he didn't remember any of his choreography, like he was so emotionally involved and like, you know, just went kind of nuts. I'm like, well, you got to understand that's kind of where he's coming from. Like his mindset is, you know, tie into that humanity and committing to the scene. And I go, and I've had the opposite where actors are like, oh, that stunt guy's so mechanical, you know, he's hitting these points and he's so, hit this beat, move that beat, change this angle. And I go, that's where he comes from. I go, you got to understand your different sides of a coin. Where like with words, with as an actor, your words and your dialogue, that's your fight routine. Like there's certain words that repeat over and over again, and you put them in a certain order for that particular scene. Same thing with fighting and martial arts. You're doing a fight scene for TV and film. You know, there's a certain amount of punches, kicks, and blocks. They parallel that it's the same thing, but you're just using punches and kicks and movement instead of words. And so I try to bridge that gap between the two so each people understand each other.
Right.
Also, man, my cold is horrible. I sound like a
you're
moron.
Fine. I should just start sniffling. Me and Jordan will start
sniffling. If you guys could do that, a little sympathetic. Thank you.
No, Jordan's running sound for us today. Thanks, Jordan.
Thanks, Jordan.
No problem.
Yeah.
It's a new frontier.
Is this live?
I hope I'm not hurting your ears.
No. Can you add a clap sound for yourself, like an applause?
That's that's us.
I haven't gotten that far. Wait. Let me see.
See if you can do it.
What? We're moving up.
A little bit of magic.
Back to what you were saying.
We're like monkeys. We're like sick of flashing light. Like, ooh. Anyways, the meaning of life is, ooh, look at that shiny stuff.
Right.
Sorry.
No, it's about the balance though. And it's so difficult to find and master that, because you have to know your lines, especially with certain projects. Like certain writers, it's like word for word. And if they're good writers, there's a reason why they used they are instead of there.
Correct.
And then other times, you know, if you're working on a set with like Kevin Hart or Will Ferrell, you better be ready to improv.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Completely.
And that's the same way with fighting. Yeah, you know how to punch correctly, and you know how to like block correctly, but if that person's coming in with something totally different, it's like, well, I usually block here. Should I move? But he's punching here. But I block here. I can't move my hand that way. That's not the right way to block.
Oh, completely.
You know what I mean? It's like, no, you gotta adapt to your surroundings.
I would tell young students, like when I used to teach or whatever, like I would have guys come in and go, oh, I want to do like martial arts and fights, or like the TV and film like you do. I'm like, cool. I go, I can do it now. I go, well, here's the idea. I go, you got to be as well-rounded as possible and ready to adapt. I go, because right now, like I said, I want you to go forth and like jump up and do like a 360 spin hook kick. And I go, you're in your gi, you have flexible clothes. I go, you have a giant mat space. Awesome, super easy.
Right.
Now we're going to do it again. Okay, we're running behind on time. You're going to do it on a catwalk with only like 2 feet of clearance. You're going to do the opposite leg you're not so good at. You're going to wear a suit of armor, and also you're going to wear contacts where things are a little blurry. Ready? Let's shoot this. Don't hit the actor. 1, 2, 3. Oh, shit. It's insane.
Yeah, Bruce Lee had this mentality, and I so agree with it. He talked about learn the form. Learn the form and every kind of structure and everything about it. Learn the technique, and then at a certain point, forget it.
Completely, you program the body, you program yourself. And I think that parallels to anything, to acting, to improv.
Right.
The same, except you learn the basics, and because you're in a fight, you don't think about, I'm going to throw this punch. You just react.
he said the highest form is no form, the highest art is no art. And it's like, it's such a paradox to people who are not initiated into a certain field. You know, it seems like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Why? Yeah. Well, I can get into it. I don't have any art. No, you got to learn it before you can
completely
throw
agree.
it away.
Completely agree.
This is exciting because it's nice having another martial artist. And I get a little nerdy and geeky because martial arts has played a big part of my life. I mean, in acting, I was watching Bruce Lee movies so young, and I'm like, that is awesome. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
You know, when he was fighting like what is it, like 30 guys in the dojang, and like he's throwing everybody around, making them eat the paper, and like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, totally.
Like as a young kid, I'm like, this guy's a badass.
Yeah, it's who you want to be.
Oh yeah, and with the nunchucks and stuff, and there's something that transcended beyond the TV into me. It's like there's this confidence, power, and this like hero, and the lessons I learned from that is like I can take those principles and adapt them to real life and everything. And so that's the more meaningful part of it.
Completely.
Your work ethic, what do you do on a daily basis? Because you do stunts, you do a lot of physical roles, and you're also an actor. So what kind of training do you do on a daily basis, whether it be for acting or physical?
A lot. I try to read as much as possible. So it's kind of like basically going through forms, but with words. Read as much as possible. My weak points on the acting side, I'll try to focus on those. This life philosophy, like life in general, whatever I feel that I'm weak at, that I can be better at, I'm constantly trying to make myself better and better and better. So I'm not just kind of skating by. But yeah, it's wild because people are like, sometimes like, oh, I got to eat a certain way and I got to go to the gym and train, either in the dojo or go into with weights and whatnot, depending on what role that I'm doing, either gain weight or lose weight. And I'm like, after a while, it's like it's part of my job. Like when you clock in those days that you aren't actually filming, me clocking in is going to the gym and training and whatnot.
Yeah.
But also another big thing, which is so crazy about this industry that we're in, that you are your own PR company as well. So with the social media, I'm constantly on social media and promoting and writing different things and whatnot, and selling that product. And it's always weird also. I was trying to tell younger actors in general, like there's who you are A and there's who you are B. Both have the same name, both have the same face, but who you are A is a real person. You have your friends, your family, watch TV in your underwear, you mow your lawn, whatever.
Mow your lawn in your underwear?
I guess, well, depending on what part of the country you're from. But our actor B is a product and it's not real. So if you get a negative review or a positive review, you can't buy into that. So, but you also have to be able to, if you are a can of Coke and you are not on the acting grocery store shelf, no one's going to buy your products. You have to be able to get out there and sell your product. Because I remember early on I would go to auditions, and before I was so lucky the career is rocking and rolling now, but I'd go to auditions and people would be like Derek, are you good at this? Or producers, like, are you good at this? And I would keep that humility going, well, you can watch my demo tapes. You tell me, I'm not sure.
Oh, interesting.
And so on the business side of things, in business talk, that's being unconfident in your product. And so people don't see that as like, wait, if you don't believe in your product, why should I? And that's not their language they speak, because unfortunately a lot of them don't speak the creative language. And so once I realized that, I switched, going like, cool, like, what do you need? Like, are you good at this? Yeah, like, here's my skill set, here's my pros, here's my cons, here's the work ethic, here I am as a person, like, here's the acting skill as well. And people are like, oh, he understands our, pros, our worries about the show, are we going to get done on time, understanding the budget and whatnot, and also just the business talk.
Right.
That changed everything for me.
It's so interesting you say that. I had an experience where I have on my resume that I'm, like, not fluent in Spanish, but like I can trudge through.
Yeah.
I had sometimes for actors, you'll get an immediate callback. There won't be a first audition. But I had a callback for an all Spanish commercial, and it said must be fluent. And I was like, oh, well, I need to call my agent right away and be like, hey, I can trudge through Spanish, like I'm fine, but I'm not fluent, and this is a callback. I don't want to waste their time. And she's like, you know what? That's fine. Yeah, we'll get the next one. I'll let them know. And it's fine. It's like I felt comfortable because I don't want to go in there and make an ass of myself, especially in a professional setting.
But real quick though, one thing that you're doing, which is fantastic, tooting your horn, not tooting my own, but you understand like the world doesn't revolve around you. That you're also, I tell younger actors, like whoever you're working with, always figure out where everyone's trying to move forward in their lives. So whatever your skill set is, the people that you're working with, figure out what their next goals are, what their next level is, or what their fears are in general. So like, how do I help you out? Going, look, I understand you're in a lot of pressure trying to cast this role.
Yes.
Like, I don't want to waste your time. Like, here's this. Like, being completely honest, it's such a huge thing because now you're part of the team.
Yeah, it's a team, exactly, and that's why I'm so thankful. A shout out to my agents and my management team, Stagecoach manager Steve Smith.
We have the same person. We have the same manager.
And everybody at ABA, Kim, Joe, and Tim. We work together as a team. And
exactly.
It's I don't like to waste their time with just random emails or just, hey, can we meet up for coffee for no reason? And it's like, if we're gonna meet up, there's a specific reason, and to try to put more money in each of our pockets.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of actors nowadays, one of the things I want to talk about is they expect so much from their agent or manager. It's like, I haven't gone out in the last 2 weeks. Well, there's a lot of things that can, it's not just your agent or manager, you know what I mean? Or I've been going out and I haven't booked anything. Are you really trying to push me and stuff? Well, it's like, man, I've heard these things from actors, and
insane.
I don't know how to make it more clear to people who are listening or who have said these things or who have thought these things. It's like, it's a team with your management, and you have to put in the hard work, and sometimes it's a headshot issue. Sometimes you're not consistent with your auditions. You think you're doing great, and you're really not doing great. And other times, sometimes things are not coming in for you, or maybe they are submitting you, and nobody's picking you up. I mean, that happens.
No, completely. We are actors. We are delusional, for sure. For sure.
To be in this industry, I think you have to. Who did I speak to? Oh, it was a director friend of mine. I'll leave him nameless for now. But he talked about you have to be a little bit stupid when you first come into it. If you don't realize like how insane this industry is, especially
nuts.
For actors.
Nuts. Totally nuts.
I tell people this. If I knew what I knew now in college, I know it sounds crazy. I would have never became an actor. I would have been like, what? No.
That's so
no.
funny.
Absolutely not. I'm going into international business and making my life that way.
It's always fun, like talking to people, like friends and family who are outside of the business.
Right.
Going like, you know what show you should be on?
That's my mom.
Mom.
That's my mom.
I'm like, Mom, stop. You'd be good on that Walking Dead. You should try that. I'm like, thanks. That sounds great. Thank you. I'm gonna put a request.
I love family members because their intention is so.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They love you. That's why they're saying it.
Yeah.
But my dad said this to me before, and I understand the thought process behind it, and I respect it, and I love it. He said, you know what, Wissam, you should write a letter to Tom Cruise, and send it to him and say, hey, I like your work, I respect you, and you know how to write, you know how to say it, and send it to him. What's it going to hurt, Wissam? And I'm like, I can't argue. Like, you're right. It won't hurt anything, but I assure you, he will never see that letter. He doesn't know me. Yeah. How is he going to trust me being in a movie with him that's cost $80 million? You know what I mean? Like, I get it. I love the family support. And the way I accept it now, I used to be like annoyed, like most actors, of course, would be annoyed. But I'm like, you know what? That's a great idea. Thanks for the positivity. I love you, Mom and Dad.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
for sure. It's also it's funny getting to know you during the interview. You seem like the guy who kind of reads between the lines. That you understand. Like if someone says something to you, it's not just what they're saying; it's the subtext of what they're saying.
Oh.
And you pick that up very well. A lot of people don't do that at all.
It goes back to acting. Why is that person saying what they're saying?
Exactly.
So let's break this down acting wise.
Let's do. I'm with you.
Your mom and dad, they say something like that. Why are they saying that? Okay, well, let's say two possibilities. One, is it that they don't care about you or don't love you? No, because usually if somebody doesn't care or doesn't love you, they're not going to say anything.
Exactly.
So maybe they do care about you, and maybe they want you to reach the top. That's why my dad said Tom Cruise. He's at the one of the top of the acting game. That's why he's saying, oh, it's because he loves me. Oh, okay, he cares about me. He doesn't know the business. That's fine. I can't reprimand him and go, he doesn't know how this works. No, he doesn't know because he's not an actor.
completely.
You have to like love that about people though. Like my mom, when I was looking for like a TV show, she was like, just go down to Sony and drop off your resume. No, that's not
One,
a good
please.
idea. Love you, but no.
No, you know what? It's like my dad is an engineer. I would never be like, Dad, you should put that L bracket there and that screw there,
Yeah.
and that way it'll be better. It'd be like, no, you're absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So I think what we're saying, this message goes beyond parents. It goes to your agent, your manager, your friends, the people you surround yourself with. Why are they saying what they're saying to you?
Exactly. Well, there's a book I read early on called Nonviolent Communication, and it talks about this in general. It doesn't have a lot to do with violence, but it's just a way to listen and to talk so you're not coming off aggressive, so you actually communicate clearly, so you listen to the subtext. Flipped cameras, run. That'd be awesome. That's how the interview ends.
That's how it
and
ends.
then Derek just left, and he never showed up again. But no, it's really, really great because you learn, like, when someone's like yelling, like, no, you are stupid, curse word, going, okay, that's not about me. There's something else that's going on that's tied to that. Like, they're trying to get out that they haven't dealt with, and then I'm hitting those buttons somehow.
Yeah.
If you're doing, if there's some sort of, there's no malice on your part going, like, wait a second, like, why is this person upset? So it's interesting to me. Like, I learned a lot about listening to what people are saying, like subtext.
My grandfather, he had the type of personality where he was very quiet.
Mm-hmm.
He was a listener. He was like a sponge type of guy. And I never appreciated until I was older why he was like that. He soaks up what people are saying, what they're doing, and he really thinks about it. And again, it goes back to acting. Are you really listening to your partner, to your person on stage or on the camera? Are you really listening to what they're giving to you? How they said hello. If they said hello, hey, how's it going? To, hey, those are two different.
Completely.
You're gonna react differently, and you've got to be really in tune with that. So that's cool.
I love this. This is so much fun.
Cool.
That's cool.
Some of your hardest lessons, because obviously if somebody goes to your IMDb page, they'll see a long list of awesome roles that you've gotten to play. But what are some of your hardest obstacles that you've had to overcome in this business, especially when you started working professionally?
Oh, that's a good question. One I talked about before, the balance between the ego and self, going like, I'm not this stuff, like these. It's very flattering. Like, I'm thrilled to have a career. I feel guilty in a sense because I have so many talented friends that aren't working.
Right.
It's unbelievable. And the industry can, the career can end at any time. So one of the valuable lessons I've learned is enjoy it while you can. Like, a lot of people will be up for a role or something, and they're like, oh, I don't want to think about it. I'm like, that's hope, man. I go, enjoy this, because this could all that it could be. It might not move any further, but dude, you're pinned to play blah 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 on this TV show. Like, dude, enjoy that. Good for you. But I think that the biggest lessons that I've learned myself are, let me try to think. It's kind of getting out of your own way, in a sense, going like, you kind of have to surrender and like let whatever happens. And
I like that. I like that mentality.
Taking ownership of whatever you're doing as an artist, because, like, for myself, like, you're just a different version of me. Like worldwide, I can go to somewhere in like Zimbabwe and go, oh, a roll of the dice. I could have come out here with these parents or whatever. Like I talked about before, like, no one's better than anybody else. We all have skills in different areas.
Yeah.
Do whatever that you love and just try to move forward. So one thing I talk about that I learned for myself that has helped a lot of other people is, like, when I go into auditions or meetings for the first time, if the casting director doesn't know me, I see so many actors go in, and the symbolism is that the casting director's like, hey, Derek, what we want you to do is draw a house with a sun and a cloud in the left corner. Okay, and a lot of times what happens is the actors will pop open the pen and go, okay, so this is the side of my house. Is this okay? Is this what you're looking for? So my cloud's going to be here. Is this cool? Rather than going, I hear what you've asked me to do, asked me to draw, thank you. Turning your back to the cast director and creating and being your own style and being you. Turning back around after you're done with the picture and going like, here you go. I can still take adjustments going like, can you make the house bigger, or can you make the sun a little bit more yellow? For sure. But that's my style.
Right.
So if it works for you, it's great. So like an example, like if it's Picasso, turn around and do this house, and you would do it and turn it back around and be like, ta-da, I'm done. Like, okay, Picasso, why is there a giant eyeball in the middle of your house? Well, that's my style. If it's right for your role, fantastic. If not, it's nothing less on me. Like, I'm just not right for the part. So like, you don't take that like I'm a horrible person. You walk away with control in a sense, going like I'm my own artist.
You know what? I really like that. It's you're doing you at the best of you in that audition room, and that's your key into booking that role is to give them the best of you, because no one else will be able to do that in the room. That's something we kind of push in this podcast, because actors need to hear that. True actors, because sometimes self-doubt, disappointment, things happen, and it's like, man, I work hard, I train hard, I see the work I've done, I'm proud of it, there's things I can improve upon, but am I really giving something special in there? Yes, you are.
For sure.
If you're doing the work, if you're being critical, you're working hard, you're getting positive feedback and things to work on, then yes, I think you have something special to give in that room.
Completely, we all do. It's so wild. Like if all three of us in this room played like Peter Pan or whatnot, we're all going to bring something different because of our own life experience. I tell younger actors, I'm like, man, just have the most amazing life experience that you have, because it makes your own personal color palette as an actor that much richer and that much more diverse.
Right.
And I go, so experience, and also whatever it is that makes you different, step on the gas pedal. I had this one girl once, pretty model girl, had like a larger nose. She's like, oh, I'm thinking about shaving my nose, and doing. I go, no, you do not, because why do you want to look and act like everybody else? That's why a lot of some of the acting schools, there are really good acting instructors. Like we talked about before, paralleling martial arts to acting. Like learn the basic techniques and then learn to forget them. And make your own thing. Because why do you want to be on a conveyor belt and be taught the same exact way of someone who's not a working actor to do? Like, no, act like this. On a side tangent, I'm getting passionate, which drives me crazy. I'll see people come in going, hey, I have this scene where I'm really working hard on crying on cue. I'm like, why? Why? No, I can cry on camera. I go, I don't give a crap about that. I go, as long as you hit that emotional beat.
Right.
I go, we all bring something different to the table. Like you might say, like the scene's about a mom passing away. Like, how would you be if your mom passed away? You might like break down in tears and like lose your mind. Sobbing out of control, moaning. Jordan might be like trying to keep it together. It might well up and no tears come out. And we all approach it differently. Just play your natural beat and let that come through. As long as you're sincere, it's going to read as sincere.
Absolutely.
That sounded weird. Guys, seriously. The color blue, if you look at it right, is the color blue. I'm levitating.
On that note,
go ahead. No, I was gonna say that's actually really similar to like last week when we had Lauren on, and she was saying whenever she's sitting in the casting room waiting to cast something, she's like, the people she falls in love with, like how she said when you came in, like you brought something that they never even saw in a character, like at all, that she wrote. Like it was her character, it's what she saw the entire world to be. And she said the same thing. It was just like the people that she likes to see are the ones that bring something completely different that she never thought of for the character. And she was even like how she was saying, she's like, I loved him so much that I just was like, do this, do that, and you kind of did all that crazy stuff in the studio.
Yeah, and it goes back to what's on the page for me. If it's, a lot of the times, 90%, if it's good writing, I'm having fun with it.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm sure you guys, you feel the same way.
But if it's good writing, you're allowed to do that. You know what I mean? It's like if it's bad writing, not that you're not allowed to do it if it's bad writing, but like you enjoy it so much that you want to do more for it. You want to bring that extra thing to be like, this is why I want to book it,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, it's also you talk about like the point of if you deconstruct what we're doing as actors, like why. Our job is to service the story. It's not about us individually. It's who's the best person to cast to tell this story. And my own personal opinion, the reason that we have story is to dissipate fear. Story in general is that either you find out that somebody has it worse than we do, or someone has it the same as bad as we do, and so we parallel that to our own lives, and there's a part of our humanity we tie in. So we watch it to dissipate fear. And so it drives me crazy when actors are like, oh, why did they cast so and so? Like, I'm much better. Like, no, you're not.
You can't do that.
Why would you even be negative like that? It has nothing to do with you. Your ego right now is in the way.
Absolutely.
I've gone to actual auditions, and like, I know my agents want to kill me. I've actually pitched other people where I'm like, I get it. I understand. I go, here's my take on it. I go, Do you know who I see in this? And it's always awesome when they actually cast the person. Like later on, I'm like, I knew it, that person's great. My agents don't like that very much. But also, it's like, it's a buffet table. If you're right, it's supposed to happen, it's going to happen.
Yeah. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Almost 1 billion people on the planet do not have access to safe, clean water, and 4,100 kids under the age of 5 will die today from drinking dirty water. The Thirst Project is the world's leading youth water activism organization. This movement of high school and college students builds fresh water wells in developing nations and impoverished communities to provide people with safe, clean water. The Thirst Project is a nonprofit organization that travels across the United States speaking at schools to educate students about the global water crisis and challenge them to fundraise to build wells. In just 6 years, the Thirst Project has activated more than 300,000 students on 320 campuses across the United States who have raised $8 million, 100% of which has been used to give more than 260,000 people in 12 countries safe, clean water. For more information, visit thirstproject.org. We are back. If you're just joining us, it's kind of weird if you're just joining us, but this is Derek Mears.
How do you just join a podcast? How do you hop in the middle like, yep, I'm going to fast forward to here?
Derek Mears is with us. We're talking about some great stuff. Jordan Burbank is running sound, doing a great job. Superb job, man.
As far as you know.
As far as I know.
Is Burbank your real last name? 'Cause that's fantastic.
It is. It's weird. I get that all the time out here. Everyone's just like, wait a minute, did you change that when you moved here? I was like, why would I do that? Like, why would it be like, Jordan Van Nuys, nice to meet you?
It sounded like if you were a weathercaster, it might work.
Jordan Van Nuys, yeah.
And Jordan Burbank with weather. I like it. No, I'm making fun of it. I think it's cool.
I watched, Derek, a interview you had for Friday the 13th where you played Jason.
I'm sorry. What do I owe you for that?
What?
What do I owe you for that? I apologize for you watching that.
No. It was a good interview.
Okay,
man.
then I don't apologize.
You don't know. It was great.
Okay.
This is what I liked about it. Nothing. No. Can you imagine? The second half of this interview is just me bashing.
That'd be fantastic.
No.
I'm on board.
No, you said there's still acting work to do, even though you had no lines.
Correct.
And people were like, well, you just stand there and look scary. And it's like, no, you said you read up on child psychology and stuff like that. Tell us a little bit about your process whenever you're, not necessarily just for Jason, but like for those roles where words are very minimum.
Yeah, it was wild. I believe in the interview I talked about the casting process for Jason, and originally the reason I got cast was they asked a bunch of different industry professionals like who they thought would be good in this role, and they wanted a professional actor, not just a big guy this time. And so like my name kept popping up in different circles, and I went in and met with the casting director.
Yeah.
And I explained to her like my everybody has their own process. I go, my process is like language is only like 10% of communication. So if I'm approaching a role where I don't have dialogue at all, I still do the script breakdown the same exact way and do my same exact research. I go, the trick is for myself is commit sincerely to whatever's going on in the scene. I go, some people think like, oh, you can only see out of one eye, or you're a body actor. I'm going to indicate like how I'm feeling with my body. I'm like, that's not me. And I go, because that's indicating that's bad acting.
Right.
I go, as long as if it's real for you in that scene, you have to trust that energy is transferred through the mask and is captured on camera. And they're like, oh, I didn't even think about it that way. And then later on, after I was actually cast, I did research on like child psychology, being the Jason Voorhees character. He was an outcast from society, and he saw his mother get murdered in front of him like at 8 or 9 years old, though his mother is his only tie to love in life, and though she's batshit crazy and she's murdered in front of him, I really spun me in the corner of going, what sort of stages of child development did you miss out on? And so I did a lot of with that. I did a lot of research on like loneliness and wilderness survival, about the psychology of like different paratroopers being separated from the platoon during like a mission or whatever, and like what the mentality, because since we're such a pack animal, like what's that's like. And so for a lot of the aggressiveness for the character, I played it almost as like a Vietnam flashback, being that his mother is his only tied to life, like I said before, and now he just wants to be left alone from society. And these kids who come into his area playing it like these are the people who stole my only source of love, and I will rip your head off. So we all have that emotional keyboard in front of us. Because some people go like, oh, you're nice, but some of these characters you play are horrible, horrible people. I go, we all have that emotional keyboard. It's just you have to know how to play it within yourself. I go, if all three of us here, like if someone like smashed our mother in the face or, like kicked a child of ours, we have that instinctual instinct to protect and go, I will rip your freaking head off.
Yeah.
And so to parallel it, so I would tie into that for myself. But yeah, it's so wild. Like some of these different mask characters, I'm about 50-50. I bounce through my normal face and doing monsters.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't have dialogue there, I mean, you still have work to do. You're not just showing up and going, I got a mask on my face. I'm a scary face. Wrong.
That's what I do every morning. Is that weird?
Time to put on the Hollywood mask.
Speaking of masks, if people see your line of work, your Sleepy Hollow stuff and some of the other stuff, how many hours do you spend in the makeup chair, man?
A lot.
And do you just, like, at a certain point, I mean, do you just put headphones in? You know?
Honestly, it's a lot of times when I get hired for certain jobs or I'm in talks for jobs or being approached, if it is a makeup job, I'm like, who is your makeup team? Because you're spending so many hours with these guys, and if you don't flow or gel with them, it's torture. So luckily with Sleepy Hollow, with Corey Casanella and Mark Neiman, the guys are the coolest guys in the world, and they're buddies of mine. So it's basically hanging out with your friends and screwing around.
That's great.
But you do get to that point where you kind of have to surrender, where like, on average, most makeups that I do on average like around 4 hours usually, and that's before you go to work and you start filming, and it's another hour, 2 hours to take off after you're done. So you're there before everybody else is there, and so when you're doing it, you kind of have to go into like a meditative state where your brain goes somewhere else. You can't think about when you're going to get it off and how uncomfortable it is. And I've talked about it before. I go, my mindset is like, what's the old adage is pain is temporary, film is forever.
Yes.
Because it's not comfortable to wear, of course.
Ooh.
But you're like, oh, this looks cool though.
You just said something. Say that again.
I've heard it from somebody else on the stunt end, where it's like pain is temporary, film is forever.
I was driving here, and I was just kind of meditating while I was driving. I don't know if that's safe to do, but but I think a lot. Sometimes I think too much. Mm-hmm. But something came across my mind very similar. The moment will pass. It's fleeting.
Yeah.
But what you do in that moment lasts for much longer.
Completely.
Which is such. I mean, if you really start thinking about that, I'll say it again for our listeners. The moment will pass quickly, but what you do in that moment lasts for a very long time.
Completely.
So like, I mean, that if you start adapting that type of mentality, what kind of things are you capable of? So like, you've got 4 hours to sit in that makeup chair. Okay, that's a moment. 4 hours goes by. I mean, sometimes it goes by. It feels like a long time, but it goes by quickly. It'll go by quickly. Yeah, it really does.
True.
But then you're already there in that moment. So what are you going to do? Are you going to meditate, like you're saying, like get into your character? Are you just going to be complaining, negative, That has the long-term effect, what you're doing in that moment. I don't know. It's just funny you mentioned that.
You're creating your own positivity. It's honestly, your outlook on things is so important, especially in this industry, because I always compare, like, man, this could end at any time. I've been so lucky to do what I do, and I'm not being shot at. I'm not digging a ditch somewhere. Like, think of like anything that you think of, like, oh, I'm having a bad day. Think of like 4 different 5 things that are worse that you would rather not do, and go, okay, This is fine. This is totally fine. So we're so lucky to tell stories for a living.
You know what? That thought process, that having that type of perspective, is much needed, especially here in the States. And we need to instill it into the youth more, because we have kids growing up with iPhones and smartphones that are capable of things that I never thought was capable when I was in elementary or middle school. I really never thought a touchscreen phone I would ever see in my lifetime.
The future.
And then like a few years later it comes out and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
The first iPhone. I remember when that came out and I was like, like the future is now.
Human.
And now even this, what we're doing, like I have the capability, anybody has the capability of making a podcast and letting the world hear.
Yeah. What's having that voice? I mean, but also I applaud you for having the soapbox, but also with the soapbox and the attention you've gotten for your career, to pass along all this positivity, because so many people have the opportunity and have the microphone to the world, and like, what do you choose to say to the world? I mean, what are you giving back before you leave this place? And I think it's really a positive thing to help so many actors out by you doing this.
Well, thank you so much. Well, let's give them some perspective.
Right.
Today, and this doesn't have anything to do with acting, 4,100 kids will die today, approximately, will die of not having clean water. Just really put that, wrap that around your head, whoever's listening right now, because your broken screen on your phone, or your stubbed toe, or your broken nail is nothing compared to losing a sibling, losing a mother or father to something like that. The Ebola thing that's going on in West Africa right now. Let's just take that. Or what's going on with the atrocities, the atrocities happening with what ISIS and these extremists, these savages are doing.
Completely agree. It's so wild. It drives me crazy, the us and them mentality. Where it's like, you could say that the Middle East, in a sense, some people from the U.S. who've never traveled, the Middle East and Narnia and Endor are the same exact places. They're like, oh, from over there, this is what? Well, I've never been there. They're different than us. No, they're you, dummy. No. They are you. I've been so fortunate coming from a small town and being able to travel around the world and meet different people and see the different circumstances, going like, this is real. Like, everyone, like I said, the us and them, there is no us and them. It's only an us. We all are together.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, last night, Halloween, Santa Ana, 3 kids, 3 siblings, 2 of them twins, get hit by a car, hit and run. They all died.
No, heartbreaking.
I'm not trying to, put a downer on this, but, it needs to be said so you get something. We have a saying. My dad told me there's a saying that sometimes a slap in the face is better than a tap on the shoulder. And you got to remember that there are horrible things going on. If you're on your deathbed tonight, are you going to look back on your life and be okay with the choices you made?
That's exactly. God, that's so wild. That's what, in a religious aspect, going like, I'm so happy to meet you, because I have a similar philosophy, like going, okay, people argue about religion or what's right, what's wrong, or sexuality, or whatever you're arguing. Judgment Day comes, whatever you believe in, whatever you don't believe in, say there's a higher, call him God or whatever. What do you say in front of? If you can own up to everything that you've done, going, cool, I'm happy with how I live my life, and I feel I was a good person. Fantastic. That's the only thing for religion that drives me crazy. It's like, let me get this straight. So when Judgment Day comes, everybody from different religions doing basically the similar things, doing the best they can, trying to be good people. That's the overall goal. And the ultimate beings going, and the winner of the correct religion is West Baptist Church. Thank you. And are you what? Are you kidding me? I put all my good time as a good human being, and everyone else is going to hell or whatever you believe in because you didn't do you didn't fill out the right spiritual forms. What? That makes no sense to me.
And not to get, I try to keep the podcast as PC in terms of politics and religion. I'm all about, hey, be a good person. Exactly. Don't harm anybody. Somebody's religious or personal beliefs, that's their own personal thing. If it doesn't harm you, who cares?
Has nothing to do with you. It's just trying to rock your own beliefs. Like, are you kidding me? Whatever. As long as you're not hurting somebody. That's why I talk. Just across the board, like politics, religion, sex. Like, as long as you're not hurting somebody, like, all right. Like,
well, aside from politics, it's not really about politics. It's about being a civil human being.
Yeah.
Especially, I think that's something that the whole podcast that we're doing here is trying to make people feel better about themselves and keep going and get inspired. LA is one of the worst places that you can get to
tough.
Feel like crap all the time, or just you see so many people treat people like crap and just do all these awful things. I started when I walk down the street and someone's like, do you have any money? If I have $1 on me, I will give it to them. Actually, we had that was a different encounter this morning, but...
Can we just tell it? I think we have to.
I want to hear this.
Well, yeah. We meet at Jamba Juice before we come over here. Shameless advertisement right there. But
that's okay. Well, this one's free, Jamba Juice.
This one was an interesting day.
I offered... There was a guy asking for money, and I saw him last week. And, there you go. Jamba Juice...
Sorry,
I'm trying to find the camera.
I'm reading it.
No, this, I thought he was a homeless guy. He was asking for spare change. I don't carry cash on me. Rarely do I carry cash on me. I said, sorry, man, I don't have cash. Saw him again this Saturday. I'm like, hey, I remember you. You asked me for spare change last week. He's like, yeah. And he seemed a little embarrassed or whatever. And I was like, hey, I'll tell you what. You want a Jamba Juice? I got you. And I'm not tooting my own horn or anything.
No, it's good.
But I was just like, yeah, sure, I'll get you one, whatever. But then these two people, this is a crazy story. This story has no point, but it's just fun to listen to. Two people be like, hey, don't buy him anything. Don't give him money. I'm like, oh, no, I was just buying him a drink. They're like, no, he smokes crack. He smokes crystal meth.
It was so...
And then the cops came, like, literally 1 minute after, like, we already called the cops and stuff. And then the cops came, and then he got arrested, and they were yelling, and I'm like, I just wanted to buy the guy a drink.
Yeah, it didn't even stop. It was literally like the same conversation like 3 or 4 times to us. Like, don't buy him anything. Someone took his ID because he's on meth and all this. And like like we're just sitting there like trying to tell him a story like 5 times, and these people just keep coming back up to us being like, yeah, you shouldn't have bought him anything. Yeah.
At the end of it, I was just like, yeah, I got it. I just wanted to buy him a drink. Like, that's like they were like getting in my face.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to do anything. Like,
he's already being arrested.
Right,
Like, we're good.
Easy Justice Machine. Holy crap, that's insane.
It's like the Punisher in my face.
Yeah, right.
I was like,
Oh man, I love it.
trying to. By the way, awesome episode so far.
This is a blast. Right now.
Yeah, there is a universal There's universal principles that I feel correspond with martial arts, acting, discipline, and the way you live your life, just in general, like business or whatever. And I've mentioned him before on the podcast, Musashi. He was a Japanese samurai, and he won like 60 life and death duels starting from the age of 13. So at a certain point in his life, he went out into the wilderness and meditated and basically was trying to figure out why he was so good at what he does. And he came up with this book called The Book of Five Rings. Have you heard of this?
No, I haven't.
I'll buy you the book. You can, I'll let you have my copy because I know you will appreciate it. There's principles. There is disciplines. There's perspectives of looking at an enemy or a problem, and everything is about fighting, about sword fighting and martial arts, but it can be applied to anything.
It's universal.
It's universal. And these are these key universal principles that when applied correctly and at the right time, success is guaranteed.
That sounds amazing.
It sounds it sounds crazy, I know, but it's guaranteed when executed precisely and like with laser focus and at the right time. It's so amazing, man. Book of Five Rings, Musashi. There's some translations out there, but I think overall...
I'll definitely check it out. It's also, I love when at certain points in your life, like I believe you meet people for either you to teach them something or them to teach you something. So there's certain things that resonate when you, as people, human beings in general.
Yes.
So like, I don't know why I'm keep thinking about that. Like there's something pointing you in that direction. So it's so funny. Like this pops up with this book. I'm like, I will buy it on my Kindle after we're done because there's something that resonates with me, and I'm like, that sounds fantastic.
It's short too. It's nothing. It's like it's really
Are there
easy.
pictures?
There's no pictures.
Well,
Sir.
I'm out.
You're out.
Nope, done.
That's fine.
Out. No pictures. No color. No crayons. No pictures. Gone.
Done. No. Let's like we were just saying that the other day about like surrounding yourself with people. Like there's certain people, I think that you just kind of become really attached to out here that that you just need to surround yourself with people that do and that want to do.
Exactly.
And you kind of get like if you do that, like you just want to do more, and like you guys can work to like collaborate and stuff, and it just keeps pushing you to want to be like. I feel like it's like you each try to not like one up each other, but you want to like get to each person's level, and it kind of keeps getting you to keep.
Oh, for sure.
motivated.
And you respect the other person as well as an artist, going like, oh man, like I want to perform for this person, and they think I'm good. It builds your confidence because when you go into rooms for people who have no idea what art is about or about creation, and they're like, well, I don't know. Can you wear a mustache in that scene? Like, what? It has nothing to do with what's going on. But you get that confidence going. Oh, I'm performing on a regular basis, and the people that I admire think I'm okay. I'm like, okay, that's all I need.
Yeah.
I think when I first started out, especially Omar Dorsey, one of our previous guests on the show.
First guest.
Yeah, our first guest on the show. He is a very talented actor, and what I really respect about him, he's made some amazing and risky but tactical business and career choices that have led him to where he's at. And when I first came out to LA, I had the pleasure and the opportunity of, and I was lucky to meet him through a mutual friend. And he started talking about the business and acting, and like what you were saying, Jordan, I was like, definitely. Like, that's somebody I want to learn from.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like
aspiring.
Aspiring. Yeah, it's not like I was jealous. You know, no. Oh, you've done some great things with your career. Let me learn from your successes and your mistakes, and so I don't do those. And I found that once I started attaching myself to people like that, it started rolling. The ball, like I was getting roles, auditioning, I was doing stuff, I was evolving. And when you start picking from people, and that's why I wanted this podcast to be, you know, like where you learn from people's mistakes, where you learn from people's successes, because it helps one another in the long run.
Well, it's a similar the old timey tribe unit. But rather than just learning from your two parents or whatnot, the entire tribe, you have the entire knowledge from the entire tribe at your disposal. So to choose people around you who you think are good people or are talented, if you surround yourself with that type of person, and also you reflect to the people that you hang out with. Like, I'll meet people who are like, oh, you're a friend of so-and-so? Okay, if you're a friend of so-and-so, you're good, but we're friends. Yeah. Because I know him, he's a really good person. So you have to check yourself with certain people that you hang out with because they represent you as well.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Absolutely.
And it's so crazy with this acting stuff. Like, everyone comes to LA and they wait to create. And it's like, we're such a different, it's like the Wild West of media right now. I'm like, go out and shoot your own things. Like, why go, wait until Sony calls me to get cast for a role, and going, you know what, I'm going to make my own thing and get my product out there because it's going to make me feel better to create. And like, the train's leaving the station. Do you guys want to hop on board?
Yeah.
If not, that's cool because the train is still going to happen.
Well, that's even with like, there's so many people that come out here and they're like, oh, well, I need to get a manager. I need to get, but I'm 15 pounds overweight, and maybe I should take a few more classes. Like, just go and do it. Just like go out there. Like, no matter what your body's like, there's a job for you somewhere.
Oh, for sure.
Like, no matter what, like where your acting ability is, there's a job for you. There's always opportunity to learn. There's always opportunity to get somewhere into it. Like, whether it's a student film to just get more for your reel, or whatever.
For sure.
Like,
and also, the main thing is enjoy it. So many people I meet, like, I'll go and do autograph signs and meet fans and whatnot. They're like, oh, I don't do what you do. I'm an actor, but I don't do what you do. I'm not on TV and film. I go, stop it. I go, it's like being a musician, and you just get bigger and bigger venues. I mean, you're playing for yourself, first of all, if you're a guitarist or whatever. Then you're going to the local church or whatever. Then you go to the local bar, and your venues get bigger and bigger and bigger. The person who's at the local bar playing his guitar, the person who's on the stage for 80,000 people, you're both musicians.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Don't downgrade yourself.
Absolutely. Derek, we're winding down on the podcast. I wish we had more time to talk. We've got so many gems here. Is there anything you'd like to say to that struggling artist out there right now?
No matter where you are, like martial arts, like when I teach martial arts, I always say, whatever you do in life, that there's a line. It's like being in a line. There's always going to be someone in front of you. There's always someone behind you. Just try to move forward. A little quick story.
Yes.
I lived in Bakersfield, and I went and saw this improv comedy show before I did acting and comedy professionally. And I went and saw this comedy show in LA, drove over. Afterwards, a guy came out and like did a meet and greet. It was super nice. Went back to LA. 2 weeks later, I saw him on an HBO movie, a super small part, and I got so excited, going, oh my God, my friend Brad is in this movie. We're not friends. He just did a meet and greet. But I realized at that time, going, wait a second, like, for myself as an actor, I'm on this crazy journey, and we're all on our own crazy journeys, and it could end at any time. So you try to be a good person and meet as many people as possible, because now when I go and do a TV show or whatever, or a film, I have fans like who've met me before going, oh my God, my friend Derek is in this movie. And so a part of them is tied to that. I don't think I'm anything special, but I think I can pass along this joy to other people. So what I'm trying to say is, no matter where you are in your own life path career, know that you're affecting so many other people around you. Yes. And be aware that you might not think it's the biggest thing, but when you're like, oh man, I only have half a biscuit to eat. Well, the guy who has a quarter of a biscuit is going, God, that guy's got a half biscuit to eat. That's cool. So there's always, like I said, someone in front of you, someone behind you. Do what you love. Follow your heart.
Yeah. That's amazing. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Derek.
No,
Seriously.
thank you guys. This
It's
has
an
been a
honor
blast.
to have you on.
Guys, anytime I get an opportunity to talk about me, I'm there. Horrible.
You're going to be here every week. Hey, you guys need me this week? No, Derek, we'll let you know. We'll let you know, Derek.
That'd be
We're
horrible.
actually not even recording. Why are you at the building?
Oh my
How'd you
god.
find out where I live?
Oh my god, that'd be awesome.
If people would like to find you on the interweb, Twitter.
Yeah, I run my own Facebook and Twitter because I try to pull back that curtain of Oz and Hollywood
Of course.
for people to keep it grounded. But it's Derek Mears, my normal name at Twitter. I also, though it sounds douchey for a title, it's the official Derek Mears fan page
Oh, that's cool.
on Facebook.
Great.
I made a mistake early on. I let everybody join my personal account, and then it maxed out at 5,000. Go, oh, I can't. No, everybody come over to the other page where it's unlimited. So it's not an egotistical thing. It's just to try to help people.
I made that mistake a while back, too. It took a long time to defriend people.
Oh,
and I felt bad, but I was like, it's just for personal friends and family.
And it sounds like you're like murdering their kittens. You're
Right?
Like, you're like, hey, can you switch over? Well, why'd you drop me? No, I'm not trying to be. Well, I can still talk the same. I
Yeah,
post
I'll
the same
talk to you
stuff over
there.
there. It's unlimited.
I just post pictures of me doing stupid
Oh,
stuff
God.
on this page.
But, Those
Jordan-
people, and also the Resistance comedy show that I do.
Oh, yeah.
Resistance comedy at Facebook, and we're putting together our new website, and that's rocking and
Oh,
rolling.
awesome.
We improvise
I'll
an action adventure movie, a full narrative every Sunday at 9 p.m. at Comedy Sports. So that's a blast.
That's awesome. Well, I'll have to definitely check that out.
Anytime you guys
Listen
want to come, let me know. I'll get you guys tickets.
What?
For real. Hookups.
What? Oh, awesome, man. Jordan, thanks for coming on again, man. You're the producer, and
I keep
I'm
trying
just.
to get time off, and you just won't let me. This chain is really killing my leg. Could you just?
That's because I can't trust you anymore. No, I'm kidding. Jordan, if they want to find you on Twitter,
J Burbank 7.
Jay.
My Facebook, it's a little condescending, but it's Jordan Burbank, king of everything. I just thought it was appropriate.
You can find me at WeSamKeish. That's my Twitter. And then WeSamKeish.com for Actors Anonymous. You can check it out. Check us out on Twitter, Podcast AA, and for our website, ActorsAnonymousPodcast.com. And you can check us out, our video streaming, GVB.com/
Global Voice Broadcasting.
Actors Anonymous. Yeah. We'll post all of those links to it. And always remember to listen, think, and then talk. Thanks, guys.